Have you ever been in a situation where everything is falling apart and instead of stopping to fix the root cause, you just frantically try to put a band-aid on a bullet wound? Just scrambling for any quick fix?
Oh, absolutely. It's the classic human reaction to panic. We look for the nearest exit, even if that exit leads off a cliff. And honestly, that is the exact vibe of the chapters we're looking at today. We are deep in Isaiah, specifically chapters 28 through 30, and the tension is palpable.
It really is. It feels like watching a slow-motion train wreck. You have the northern kingdom, Ephraim, described as these drunkards wearing a fading flower as a crown. It's such a tragic image, partying while the ship goes down.
Right, it's this delusion of safety. Isaiah paints this picture of leaders who are intoxicated, maybe literally, but definitely metaphorically, with their own pride. They think they've outsmarted the impending doom. There's this chilling phrase Isaiah uses. They claim they have made a covenant with death.
That stopped me in my tracks. A covenant with death? Who says that?
It's sarcasm at its finest. The leaders in Jerusalem think their political alliances, specifically with Egypt, are going to save them from the Assyrian Empire. They think, if we sign this treaty, death will pass over us. But Isaiah looks at them and says, "You think you've cheated the grave? No, you've just trapped yourself in a lie."
And he uses that hilarious, uncomfortable metaphor about the bed, right?
Laughs. Yes, the bed is too short to stretch out on and the blanket is too narrow to wrap yourself in. It's such a vivid image of a bad policy. No matter how you adjust, you're going to be miserable. You can't get comfortable in a lie.
So while they are running around trying to secure these military alliances, what is Isaiah telling them to do? Because his advice seems counterintuitive.
Completely counterintuitive. In chapter 28, God introduces a different kind of security. He says, "Behold, I lay in Zion a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone." The implication is, stop building on sand and panic. Build on something that has been tested. And then, the kicker is in chapter 30. He tells them, "In returning and rest, you shall be saved. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength."
That had to be infuriating for a military general to hear. The enemy is coming and you want me to be quiet?
Exactly. They responded, "No, we will flee on horses." And God effectively says, "Okay, then you shall flee." It's the paradox of faith. When you scramble for control, you lose it. When you surrender control to the cornerstone, you actually find stability. But they just couldn't do it. They wanted the visible strength of Egypt's chariots, not the invisible strength of God.
It reminds me of chapter 29 where he talks about their hypocrisy. They go through the motions of religion, but it's empty.
That's the sealed book passage. It's tragic. The educated can't read the vision because it's sealed, and the uneducated can't read it because they can't read. The result is a society that is spiritually illiterate. Isaiah calls them out. "These people draw near with their mouths, but their hearts are far from me." They wanted the ritual without the relationship.
It's performance art rather than belief.
Precisely. And because of that, they act like clay trying to boss around the potter. They've inverted the entire structure of reality, thinking they know better than their creator.
But B, despite all this doom and gloom, and there is a lot of judgment here, Isaiah doesn't leave them in the dark forever, does he? There's a shift in chapter 30 that is honestly beautiful.
It is. After all the warnings about the rebellious children running to Egypt, God says something stunning. "Therefore the Lord waits to be gracious to you." He's literally waiting for them to stop running so he can help.
And that famous promise about the teacher.
Yes. "Your eyes will see your teacher." And then, this incredible promise of guidance. "Your ears will hear a word behind you saying, 'This is the way, walk in it,' when you turn to the right or to the left."
That's such a comforting thought. It implies that even when we've made the covenant with death, even when we've tried to rely on Egypt, if we just stop and listen, the voice is still there.
That's the key. The voice is usually behind you, implying you might have turned your back on it. You have to stop running, turn around, and listen. The farmer parable at the end of chapter 28 reinforces this too. A farmer doesn't thresh the grain forever. He doesn't crush it to destroy it. He processes it to make bread. God's discipline isn't about annihilation. It's about preparation.
That's a powerful place to land. It makes me wonder, in our own lives, where are we frantically trying to make a bed that's too short, relying on things that won't work, instead of just getting quiet enough to hear the direction we actually need?
That's the question. Are we riding swift horses to Egypt, or are we waiting for the voice? Because only one of those roads leads home.
Something to think about. Thanks for breaking this down with me today.
Anytime. If you have been blessed by this, please like, subscribe, and share this joy with others. God bless.